What you're about to hear will shake the very foundation of everything you thought you knew about WWE. I'm not talking about storylines. I'm not talking about scripted drama. This is real. This is raw. And this is something that Adam Pearce himself has finally broken his silence about after weeks of speculation, rumors, and absolute chaos behind the scenes. Paul Heyman, the wise man, the special counsel, the greatest advocate in sports entertainment history. His name has been whispered in hushed tones backstage. His absence has left a void that no one can fill. And today, we finally know the truth. But I'm warning you right now, what Adam Pearce revealed is not what anyone expected. It's worse, it's deeper, and it's going to change everything moving forward. This is Wrestle Scope, and you're watching the only channel brave enough to tell you what's really happening in WWE. So buckle up, because this ride is about to get brutal. Hello viewers, if you're new here, please don't forget to like and hit the subscribe button for daily updates on WWE Raw. Let me ask you something, and I want you to really think about this before you answer in the comments below. How is it possible that WWE's general manager, Adam Pearce, the man who supposedly runs Monday Night Raw, waited this long to address Paul Heyman's situation? Weeks have gone by. Weeks. The WWE universe has been in absolute turmoil, speculating, theorizing, creating conspiracy theories about what happened to the wise man. And Pearce? Silent. Completely and utterly silent. Until yesterday. And when he finally spoke up, the update he gave was so heartbreaking, so devastating, that fans immediately took to social media in absolute mourning. Twitter exploded, Reddit went into meltdown, Instagram was flooded with tributes. The WWE universe is grieving right now, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. But here's what's making me furious, and I want you to tell me if I'm wrong in the comments right now. Why did Pearce wait so long? What was he hiding? What was WWE trying to cover up during all those weeks of silence? Because let me tell you something, when a company goes this quiet about one of their most iconic figures, there's always something deeper going on. Was it legal issues? Was it contract disputes? Was there something happening behind the scenes that WWE didn't want us to know about? Or is this whole thing, and stay with me here, part of something even bigger that we haven't seen coming? I'm going to break down everything we know, everything Adam Pearce revealed, and everything that WWE doesn't want you to figure out. And trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to see Paul Heyman's situation in a completely different light. So let's get into what actually happened. Yesterday, in what can only be described as one of the most emotionally charged moments in recent WWE history, Adam Pearce finally addressed the WWE universe about Paul Heyman. And folks, the way he delivered this message, you could see it in his eyes, you could hear it in his voice. This wasn't some corporate PR statement. This was real emotion from a man who clearly has nothing but respect for the wise man. According to Pearce's statement, Paul Heyman has been dealing with what he described as unforeseen personal circumstances that have required him to step away from WWE programming indefinitely. Now, immediately, alarm bells should be going off in your head. Unforeseen personal circumstances? That's the kind of vague corporate speak that WWE uses when they don't want to tell you the full story. But Pearce didn't stop there. He went on to say, and this is where it gets absolutely heartbreaking, that Heyman's absence has created a void in WWE that cannot and will not be filled by anyone else. He called Heyman irreplaceable and one of the greatest minds in the history of this business. The respect, the admiration, the genuine emotion in Pearce's words, it was palpable. He then made a statement that sent chills down the spine of every single WWE fan watching. Paul Heyman's contributions to WWE, to sports entertainment, and to the careers of countless superstars cannot be overstated. We stand with him during this difficult time, and our thoughts are with him and his family. His family, folks. He specifically mentioned Heyman's family. That tells us this isn't just some storyline angle. This isn't kayfabe. This is something real, something personal, something that's affecting Paul Heyman on a deeply human level. Social media erupted immediately after Pearce's statement. Fans from around the world started sharing their favorite Paul Heyman moments. The legendary ECW promos, the death of the streak at WrestleMania 30, the formation of the Bloodline, his incredible work with Brock Lesnar spanning 2 decades, the "Acknowledge Me" catchphrase that became a cultural phenomenon. Every single moment that Paul Heyman made legendary was being remembered, celebrated, and mourned. Hashtags like "Thank You Heyman" and "Wise Man Forever" started trending worldwide, and that's when you know something has truly resonated with the WWE universe, when fans from every era, every generation, every corner of the fandom come together to show love and support. But here's where things get interesting, and this is where I need you to pay very close attention.
Adam Pearce's statement raised more questions than it answered. And if you've been following WWE for any length of time, you know that when WWE is vague, there's usually a reason. So let's break down what we actually know versus what we're being told. First, the timeline. Paul Heyman's last televised appearance was several weeks ago. Initially, WWE explained his absence as creative direction and suggested that the wise man was simply off our screens as part of a storyline development. Standard procedure, right? Nothing to worry about. But then the weeks started piling up. No Heyman promos, no backstage segments, no appearances alongside Roman Reigns or Solo Sikoa or any member of the Bloodline saga that he helped architect. Complete radio silence. Behind-the-scenes reports, and we have sources, folks, this isn't speculation, started indicating that Heyman hadn't been at TV tapings. He wasn't at SmackDown, he wasn't at Raw, he wasn't even backstage at premium live events. For someone as integral to WWE's programming as Paul Heyman, that's unprecedented. Now, WWE tried to keep this under wraps. They continued storylines without him, brought in other personalities to fill the void, and basically acted like everything was business as usual. But the WWE universe, we're not stupid. We noticed. We've always noticed when something's off. Industry insiders started whispering, reporters started asking questions, and WWE's response? Silence. Complete and total silence. Until yesterday, when Adam Pearce finally broke that silence with his heartbreaking update. Here's what's particularly interesting about Pearce being the one to deliver this news. Adam Pearce isn't just a general manager character. He's a respected figure backstage, someone who has genuine relationships with the talent, someone who understands the business from every angle. For WWE to have Pearce deliver this message rather than some corporate executive or a standard press release, that tells us how serious the situation truly is. The phrase unforeseen personal circumstances is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that statement. It's intentionally vague, which is appropriate when dealing with someone's private life, but it also leaves the door open for interpretation, and the WWE universe has been running through every possible scenario. Some fans speculated about health concerns, others wondered about family matters. Some even suggested this might be the beginning of Paul Heyman's retirement from the industry altogether. And that thought, the possibility that we might have seen the last of Paul Heyman in WWE, has the entire wrestling world in absolute mourning. To understand why this news has hit the WWE universe so hard, we need to talk about who Paul Heyman actually is and what he means to professional wrestling. Paul Heyman isn't just a manager, he isn't just an advocate, he isn't just a special counsel. Paul Heyman is, without exaggeration, one of the most important figures in the history of professional wrestling. Let's start with ECW. In the 1990s, when wrestling was dominated by WWE and WCW, Paul Heyman created something completely different. Extreme Championship Wrestling wasn't just extreme in name, it was revolutionary in execution. Heyman took wrestlers that the big companies didn't want, gave them creative freedom, and created a product that influenced everything that came after it. The hardcore style, the emphasis on athletic ability regardless of size, the blurring of kayfabe and reality, the creation of stars like Steve Austin, Mick Foley, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Jericho, Rey Mysterio, and so many others who would go on to define the next 2 decades of wrestling. All of that traces back to Paul Heyman's vision in ECW. When ECW closed, many thought Heyman's best days were behind him. They were wrong. Heyman's work with Brock Lesnar beginning in 2002 revolutionized what a manager could be in modern WWE. He wasn't just standing at ringside, he was telling stories, cutting promos that were must-see television, and elevating Brock Lesnar from impressive athlete to absolute phenomenon. The Paul Heyman guy became a badge of honor. CM Punk, Cesaro, Curtis Axel all benefited from association with Heyman. But it was his eventual reunion with Brock Lesnar and the subsequent creation of the Bloodline saga that cemented Heyman's legacy as the greatest storyteller in WWE history. Think about the Bloodline, the years-long saga of Roman Reigns, the Usos, Solo Sikoa, and the entire Anoa'i family dynasty. The tribal chief character, the acknowledge me phenomenon, the weekly promos that had fans glued to their screens, the intricate storytelling that wove together family history, personal ambition, betrayal, loyalty, and redemption. At the center of all of it, Paul Heyman, the wise man, the special counsel to the tribal chief. Heyman didn't just help Roman Reigns become the biggest star in WWE, he helped create the most compelling, consistently excellent storyline WWE has produced in the modern era. Week after week, month after month, year after year, the Bloodline delivered, and so much of that was because of Paul Heyman's creative genius, his understanding of character, his ability to cut a promo that made everything feel important. Wrestling without Paul Heyman isn't just missing one performer, it's missing a creative visionary, a storyteller, a historian of the business, and someone who genuinely loves professional wrestling in a way that few people ever have. That's why Adam Pearce's statement hit so hard. That's why the WWE universe is in mourning, because the possibility of WWE without Paul Heyman, permanently, is almost too devastating to consider. The response from the WWE universe has been overwhelming. Within hours of Adam Pearce's statement, social media became a digital memorial to Paul Heyman's career. Fans shared their favorite moments, their favorite promos, their favorite matches that Heyman was involved in. The outpouring of love and respect was unlike anything we've seen in recent memory. Former WWE superstars started weighing in as well. CM Punk, who had his own complicated history with WWE but always praised Heyman, posted a simple message: "Thank you for everything, Paul." Short, simple, but loaded with meaning coming from someone who worked so closely with the wise man. Brock Lesnar, who rarely engages with social media or public statements, reportedly reached out to Heyman privately. While we don't know the details of that conversation, sources indicate that Lesnar has been deeply concerned about his longtime advocate and friend. Current WWE superstars have been more cautious in their public statements, likely following company guidance, but the sentiment is clear. Paul Heyman is beloved backstage. He's not just respected as a creative mind, he's genuinely liked as a person, which in the cut world of professional wrestling is actually quite rare. The fan response has also sparked interesting conversations about Heyman's place in wrestling history. Is he the greatest manager of all time? Many would argue yes, and it's hard to find a compelling counter-argument. Bobby Heenan was brilliant, Jimmy Hart was iconic, Jim Cornette was incredible, but Heyman's impact spans multiple eras, multiple companies, and multiple generations of stars. Some fans have started comparing Heyman's situation to when Jim Ross stepped away from WWE due to health issues, or when other beloved figures had to take time off for personal reasons. The WWE universe has always been supportive during these times, but there's something about Heyman's absence that feels particularly acute. Perhaps it's because Heyman has been so present in recent years. He's been a weekly fixture on our screens, delivering promo after promo, appearing in segment after segment, being the glue that held together the most important storyline in modern WWE. Going from that level of presence to complete absence, it's jarring, it's disorienting, and for many fans it's genuinely upsetting. The comment sections across YouTube, Twitter, Reddit, and Instagram have been remarkable.